Okay, I really couldn't think up of an intro for this, so I really just kind of wanted to address this. Because Satrakian is just such an awesome dude, like, all the time. I kind of want to, like, Photoshop a bunch of stuff onto him, like, make him all gangster and look all pimp and stuff. So every time I want to certify something as awesome with Satrakian, I put up, like, a symbol, but it's, like, Satrakian all pimped out. It's just, for some reason, where my head floated to anytime Satrakian does something cool. So, we got our strain on for the week, got the fix. This episode was part filler, part kind of transitioning the story over, you could tell. Because ultimately, lots of flashbacks, many flashbacks. Basically, F hunting down Kelly because he wants to find his wife because he doesn't want her to be dead. Um, so he goes out there to try and find her because his very clever son decides, oh hey, why don't I just track her cell phone? And off we go. Obviously, he kept the kid behind. But then we're flashing back to kind of see what happened to her, and I like that they did that because you're ultimately watching her decline, and you're just like, this is a brutal virus. We already knew it was brutal, but you're just watching it happen was just really good because it kind of broke up the pacing of this episode. And then on the other story arc, we have Fett and Hacker Lady. I don't like Hacker Lady. She always looks methed out to me. Fett and her, you can see that there's some chemistry there. They like each other. They don't necessarily know it yet, but they are. And they go to the tower with Aldrich Palmer. I wanted to say Aldrich Killian, but I was going to Marvel. Why am I going to Marvel? Back at the ranch. So they're going to his place, and they're going to tell him, dude, this isn't cool, and they're going to try and hack his device, but they got to him first. So that was our other story arc. So we're bouncing back and forth between these two. Basically, the just journeys. This was a smaller day in the world of Strainage. Totally just a random thought I had during this episode was I love that you see regular everyday life still going on as this apocalypse is starting to happen. So it shows that it's like a slow apocalypse. It's not like a show where all of a sudden, boom, everybody is just dead, basically. Like, school is still going on as this epidemic is happening. The information we got in this episode really was that Kelly's dead. Like, spoiler alert if you didn't watch the episode, but she's dead. And that is really her decline, and you can kind of see all of that. And then the other important information we gathered is people are starting, the assistant, I should say, for Aldrich is really not trusting him, which means people are kind of realizing it. Bad people aren't necessarily bad. There's a lot of gray area. And you can see that F and Fett are kind of clashing a little bit. But there wasn't necessarily too much in this episode. This was a much smaller episode. I was kind of shocked when it ended. Normally I can kind of see where they're wrapping things up for the week, but this one just sort of ended. This wasn't one of my favorite episodes of the season, but the things that were there I did like. We got some cool vampire action. We got some thrilling suspense in the tower with Aldrich and Fett and Hacker Chick. Kelly, her decline just really, I don't know, when you watch it and you kind of see that whole confrontation with her ex and how it's done. I don't know, it was hard to watch in the sense that you're just like, wow, you are going through a lot. And one of the cool things in this episode was they kind of show the vampire vision. And I thought that was so interesting, just how you see the veins like pulsing through the body. And then finally, she's introduced to the Master. And the Master, of course, looks awesome. But I don't ever remember Kelly's vampire meeting the Master. So I don't know, maybe they're going to do something cool with that. I'd love to see that. F is, of course, tracking down Kelly, and he goes into her friend's house, and the two vampires are obviously turned now, and and they're sleeping in the basement, and he ultimately shoots the friend in the head twice, and then the kid gets up, and you see the kid is a vampire, and he's trying to fight, and you can kind of see the transition that he's going from simply doctor to warrior, and I liked that because that scene meant a lot. Where he's sitting there and he's struggling to shoot the kid, and then all of a sudden it's like everything just washed over him, and then bang. And I loved that because you see this transition, and I think you needed to see that transition. Because ultimately, F as a hero is going it alone in this adventure. He doesn't have Satrakian there to do awesome stuff and cut people up with swords. No, it's basically just F on this one. And I liked that because now we're kind of seeing this transition into they're preparing for war because they need to take down the Master, which means in the future episodes now, we're kind of we're over the halfway hump now. We're on our way into that final third act. And that third act, I read the book, and it is bananas. Really, we're getting that final bit of character before everything just hits the fan. And when it hits the fan, it's going to hit the fan hard. So, how did you guys like this episode? Did you guys think it was just an alright episode like I did? I mean, I still liked it, don't get me wrong. But it was more just like a calm before the storm. It was a smaller story, and I still liked it. But was it just kind of one to sort of get your fix for the week and then start to crave it again? Alright guys, let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I actually have 2 movie reviews coming to you this next upcoming weekend for a bit of news. And then of course, Doctor Who and The Strain. So you got more videos from me. I like putting videos out. Hope you like watching them. So hopefully just more for everyone is good. So until next time, see you later. Love you guys.